So if you want to shut down the 29 browsers you have open, lock the kids in a closet, tell them not to kill each other, just whatever it takes. Give yourself a little time. This is really going to be a treat for you because we've done a lot of work on this, and I think it's really going to help people. So let me share my screen. Good, I'm sharing my screen, and if you can see this, if you would type a yes or a Y in the chat room, that would be great. Just let me know that you can hear me and see my screen. Good. Okay. And again, just to test the integrity of the system here, just tell me how long you've been trading, how long you've been involved in the markets, A, B, or C. Just let me know. And Robert's in silence here, but he's going to do the tallying because he's the numbers guy. And we'll get a feel for how experienced the audience is, because this presentation, like the entire class, is really meant to be geared to you guys and where you're at. So it's kind of a write your own adventure. And, we're looking forward to that. People trade a lot of different things. Today, each of these things can be traded on a web interface. They all look the same, just looks like some numbers, some buy buttons, some sell buttons. But there are different rules in each of these exchanges and different protections and different techniques. And you can really mess yourself up if you don't know about them. So that's one of the first things that we want to take care of, as we start this course. There's some surprises, even if you're a pretty seasoned trader. I just want to do a little bit of warning. I know a lot of people love to hype these trading courses and so forth, but I just want to put us in touch with reality. 90% of futures accounts are zero in 90 days. Okay, so I know I've blown up several. If you have, it's to be expected. If you haven't, either congratulations or you're not trying hard enough. I don't know which one it is. But trading is very hard. And even if you're not trading, it's hard. And here's what I mean. Dalbar, a very well-respected surveying company, takes a look at the accounts of individual investors across several brokerages, and time after time for decades, the average guy in the US is getting 4.3% per year, give or take. Okay, and a lot of it comes down to mistakes, some of it comes down to taxes, and so forth. But at any rate, it's bleak for the average. And I know we all aspire to be way above average. Here's a few things that get in your way. Whenever you buy, somebody's selling. Whenever you sell, somebody's buying. Always assume that person knows a lot more about the situation than you do. The market is based on asymmetrical information. If everyone really knew the same information, come to a price, and that would be that. The other thing is, and I was going to call these secret advantages or hidden advantages, they're just arcane. There's some tools that institutions have that you don't have access to yet, and we're going to show you how to get those. There are some privileges that institutions have, and we're going to show you how to get them too, so that when it comes time to, you can prudently leverage your stuff, if that's what's called for in the process. So now the really bad news. You see this? The people who built this, and the people who do this, and the people who know this, all know that they can go to the market and they can put a zero after their income. Some of them have put 2 zeros after their income, because the market has trillions of dollars, they're moving quickly, and there is a way to get at it. So a lot of the people who've done that are the people you're going to trade against. They're going to be the counterparty to your trade. And they have more capital, they have better information, and they, in some cases, have better training than you do. So I hope this gives you pause. I hope there's a little feeling in your stomach like, oh, wow. I mean, um, you have a lot of pressure on you to perform when you decide that you're the person who's going to take on this endeavor to grow the wealth of you and your family. And you are working against guys with PhDs, guys with math degrees, guys who get 600,000 just to show up for the job, plus a bonus when they make money because of it. So these are the people you are competing with. And this is Caleb. Caleb, I don't know if he's on the call tonight, but he has agreed to come and talk to us in the class. And Caleb is a cattle rancher. In the morning, he spends a few hours taking money out of the S&P futures pit, and then he goes off and does what he wants with his kid, with his wife. He likes to build things and so forth. Now, Caleb doesn't have a degree in anything, and he's not connected to people in Wall Street. On the other hand, he has gone through a psychological and physical regimen that probably nobody on this call could get through. So that's the root of his superpower. And we all have one. If you're going to survive in the market, there's something inside you that is going to persist in the face of some loss, in the face of resistance. Now, Jamie is a friend of mine and a guy in finance who is as fun as he looks. Jamie, as I said, really liked finance, so the way he tilted toward it was to go into retail finance, but he's been trading for 6 or 10 years, and Jamie's superpower is this. He uses a few of his favorite indicators. He looks at a chart, and I don't know, every so often, a few times a month, he'll throw on a trade that in 2 hours, maybe 2 days, gets him $10,000 or $20,000. It's very opportunistic. He doesn't trade when he doesn't want to, but it adds to his income. And maybe that's the relationship you want to have with the market. This guy here is my partner at Porter Kickham. Mike Kickham has generated his wealth solely through asset allocation, which is one of the strategies we're going to talk about later. So he's approached this in a very different way. And Mike's superpower is this. The way that he works, when it's time for you to be financially independent, he sets it up so that your risk of ruin is zero, so that you will always have your income from your stuff and you will always own it. There's no annuitizing or giving your money away to an insurance company. You'll own it, you'll always be able to use it, and it will grow with inflation and appreciation. So that's what he does, and I'm not sure if he'll be able to talk to us, but I work with him every day and can certainly tell you about him. So what I'm wondering, though, is who is here? If you would like to say a few words on the chat, just tell me maybe what brought you here tonight, where you're from, what your your job is, and maybe what you hope for. I'll have Robert kind of read the thread for me. So for myself, a really long time ago, I got a degree in philosophy. None of the big philosophy companies were hiring when I graduated, so I had to work outside my field. My other major, or my concentration, was neurobiology, and the rest is a long story. But look, if we are here, I started trading back there before there was an SPY, before there was an internet when you had to use the phone. So I have seen some shit. Speaking of that, you can possibly tell that I'm a New Jersey Italian. I'm a little rough around the edges, even with a degree. All of my friends at home, they all look like this. So that's just where I'm from. You can't take it out of me. But here we are at Lumi Wealth, and we're in this community of people that I just thought was fantastic. I took the algorithmic trading course, and I started to participate with the machine learning and so forth. And, the depth of field here at Lumi Wealth is great. And that's what's really going to help us make this course and help us, make it make it work for you. We wanted to know what the ultimate trading course would look like. We didn't want to give just a bunch of techniques or have it be a place where people asked what options they should trade this week or what coin they should buy. That wasn't what it was going to be about. So what's unique about what we're doing here is that we have a community, and we're going to encourage community participation in our classes. It's going to be focused, and we're going to focus on what it is that you're trading. So I guess the class will be multi-focused, but we'll be looking for clear results that you're going to get. And the other thing was we wanted to do it on a framework that was going to be easy to understand. So I'm going to give you a minute to take a look at this slide. And what we did was we divided this into 3 phases. The first thing you have to do is survive. And what we realized was that the first step is to get an MVA, a minimally viable algorithm. Now, if you're not trading, don't worry, because an algorithm is just a set of steps. So you can have a checklist. You can write the things out like a laundry list. It's an algorithm if it's a series of things that you keep doing over and over again. If you're a computer programmer, well, you can really go to town. So once you have this MVA, then we're going to take a look at how it is that you can scale it, because if it works, there are a lot of methods in the capital market to amplify what you're doing. And some of those methods even include other people's money. There's a lot of rules and regulations about it, but if there's something scalable that works, they are no barrier. And you'll be able to succeed as much as you want to. So it doesn't matter if somebody oh, look, there's the chat. How cool. All right. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you guys. I'm going to let you guys take a look at the course. I'm going to look over the chat here. A lot of people in IT. Okay. Some beginners, some experienced people. Fantastic. Okay. So look over the course here, and later in the presentation, if there's any questions, I'll definitely get into them. Okay. So it's always important to ask, is the class for you? And it's important for me to ask if it's for you too, because we want everybody to succeed. So we're really looking for people who are collaborative, and those are people who are willing to share their knowledge and to receive knowledge from others. But if you've ever done a group project and there's been the kid who like shows up at the end to get the A, you know, we don't really want that kid. Of course, you need to be committed to do this. If you traded at all, you've had some losses, you keep coming back. There's a joke about a bear in the woods. We won't go there. But you keep coming back, and that commitment is what's really important. We're also looking for people who are coachable. And everyone likes to say, oh, yes, I'm coachable. I take advice and so forth. But no, being coached is hard because the coach is asking you to change. And the hardest thing for your ego is change. You will resist. There may be tears. It's just that being able to make a change is what's going to give you changed results. So keep that in mind as the course maybe as you run into some bumps here and there. Okay. And the last thing is the right time. This is the time of greatest opportunity, turmoil, chaos. This is the time to know what you're doing in the capital markets. If it's the time for you, you know, then fantastic. If the course is right for some people, then it's also wrong for some people. So the wrong people are spectators. you really have to do the work in the course, and you'll be doing some trading, or if you don't have the money to trade, you'll be using your paper account, but you'll be taking good notes about what it is you're doing. We don't need anybody who's a Monday morning quarterback, because we're going to be sharing our results, and a lot of our results are going to be losses, and half of the losses are going to be because, gosh, I did a stupid thing, mine too. So we don't need anybody saying, I woulda, you coulda. All right, none of that kind of stuff is going to go on here. What we're really looking for is a way for people to move from where they are up and out, and to just kind of get rid of the obstacles that they have. So I've asked a lot of people what it is that's holding them up, or what's most frustrating. And I want you guys to think about what's most frustrating for you, because I'm going to ask you about it in just a minute. But for now, I want to talk about the things that people tell me when I've worked with them. A lot of people can't explain what they're doing. And certainly everybody who comes to an algorithmic course says something about, I want to take the emotion out of it. I don't want to have the bad feelings or anything like that. Next, people who are getting somewhat profitable get frustrated that they're not consistent. They start to doubt their own system. And again, they also make trading mistakes. So the system says go, and you stop, and then there's a conversation, and so on and so forth about that. Also brings up bad entries and exits. And the last thing is the worst thing: aimless changes. You're going along, you're doing your trading system, and you get stopped out. The market goes where you want it to, so you decide you're going to move your stop down, and something else happens, and you're moving your stops, your profit things. And before you know it, you're just letting the market action dictate what you should do unreasonably. So what I really would like to know, and now that I can actually see the chat, it's going to be really exciting for me. I'd like to know what frustrates you now. What's in your way? What would you like to tackle? Okay, hey Ron, you too, man. Oh, we have a data scientist in the house. That's great. There's a lot of work to be done. Some of it's simple. Okay, crypto traders, love you guys. I'm here for tea and sympathy over that. Okay, I'm sure it will get better. Okay, good. Okay, can everybody still see my screen? Yeah? Okay. So each of the frustrations we talked about has a place where we address it in the course. But essentially what we're trying to do are 3 steps. Something big enough, good enough to survive. We want to monitor that. We want to manage it. We want to monitor and manage it and make sure that it's really working and good. And then we want to leverage it, because we're going to scale. And when I say scale and succeed, you're the one who's going to determine what the success is. You don't have to race yachts with Ray Dalio. If for you, getting a few $100s at a time whenever you want to from trading, that's fine. Whatever it is that's success for you. So phase 1 in our course is composed of 3 steps to get the minimally viable algorithm. First, we get very clear on what it is you're doing here. Doesn't sound like that's anything to do with trading, but that's everything to do with trading, because whenever something happens and you have a doubt, or you think you're risking too much or whatever, it comes down to the fact that there's unexplored points in this clarity issue. Next is the fundamentals. I mentioned some market rules, some tools. We'll be using Interactive Brokers and their algorithmic trading platform for the people who do not know how to program, and for the people who do, you can access that through the API and really do some stuff. But the end point is, let's start a little strategy. Now, some people are like, Guy, I don't have a strategy, or I don't know how I would develop one, and so forth. And it's like, don't worry. We have some ideas, and we can tell you where to get some ideas. The simplest one is a trend following system. And if you're more of an artist, if you're not a mathematician, if you like to see relationships, then we'll show you how to do a trend following system that's relaxing, I would say. For people who like trading a bunch, like to use some indicators, there's something called mean reversion, and that's when, an issue gets too low, so it's important to buy it because it's going to go up, or it's too expensive and let's sell it. That's mean reversion. People have been doing a lot of work with something called information theory. It's Nobel Prize winning. I think one guy completed the entire discipline in one book. He worked at Bell Labs, I remember. At any rate, separating signal from noise is something that you can see on a chart. We'll train you to see that. And one of the people helping will be my admin assistant, my trading assistant, Dan, who, listen, the guy was like a communications major, and within about 6 months, he's able to call the shots for stuff as well as I am. So it's definitely learnable. There's a lot of guys at LumiWealth who are keeping their fingers on the pulse, who are trying to figure out how to do sentiment. I think in the Discord room, you can see that Robert's even making a bot that's lighting up here and there. So this is definitely a way to get your big idea. There's something called rebalancing. And rebalancing is a lot deeper than it seems. I mentioned that Mike Kickham is somebody who does a lot of that work. And Robert actually and the team have designed some robots that work off the shelf doing that kind of thing. And lastly, well, at least lastly for this, is technical analysis. There's a library of technical analysis tools. If you're a programmer, if you're not a programmer, the charting software today is just unbelievable. It will paint you a pretty picture. It will show you stuff unmatched. Look, to get a moving average, we used to have to read the prices in the paper and then go back to our graph and pencil them in. So you can't imagine how far this has come and how great it is. Anyway, let's assume you go along, you get yourself a system, it's kind of working. Now we're looking to scale it. So first we have to implement it, make sure that it runs really on the brokerage, that it's really starting to get some returns and some losses and so forth. And we start to improve it. And as I said before, if something works, we're going to leverage it. Essentially, we think big, start small, and then it's scale or fail. So for the nerds of you out there, here's the thing in phase 2. First, we start to get some statistics about what it is your system is doing in terms of risk and reward. And then we start to take a look and see if you, the manager, are actually adding any value to this mess, or if you're just running around and it happens that the market is on a tear. So we take a careful look to be able to prove that the manager has skill. And then lastly, we take a look at a little more of that, and we get this system ready to be able to say to a stranger, hey, this is pretty good. Would you like to invest some money? Because you can be doing great on your own, but really, unless you've got a couple of $1 million dedicated to your system, it may take you forever to make a living from it. One of the fastest ways to acquire wealth for yourself is to either have a fund or to do something where you can get people investing with you. And then, that really is phase 3, which is having your wealth be so, what do I want to say, anti-fragile, not have the ups and downs, have things so in hand that you're relaxed. And again, for some people, that's $1 million in total assets. For other people, it's 10 million. It doesn't matter what it is for you as long as we get clear on what it is. Okay, and we do that in the clarity thing. Now, in my personal practice at Lifestream Advisory, I work with families. And essentially what we try to do is, how they talk about the 1% and the 5% and so forth, is when we work with people, we try to move them up one decile in 5 years. So if you're in the 80s, we want you to move up to the 90s within 5 years, that kind of thing. So when we talk about what's available at LumiWealth, there's an option to go through the class, but then there's also an option to have this tailored to your personal wealth. And what we'll do is use an app that has all of the elements of what it's going to take to keep you headed toward financial independence. And this is just how it looks on your phone. Here's a few phone screenshots. The whole thing looks like this over here on the right, where you can see the various ratios that we're looking at. And it updates in real time or quarterly for some things like home value, but we'll monitor this and you'll be able to see changes on it over the course of a year. Essentially, for traders, the pathway we look for in Elements is we want to see the money from your brokerage account. This sounds so elementary, doesn't it? We want to see the money from your brokerage account start to get into your income. We want to make sure you don't pay too many taxes on it. And then we want to make sure that your entire business and family and so forth is protected. That's this estate status. You're going to need an LLC when you need one. You're going to need corporate shells and so forth in order to do this right. But eventually, you're going to see on that app your total term. And it's boiled the whole thing down to this. At your present lifestyle, if you liquidated everything you own, how many years of living do you have? Okay, and when that comes up to past your life expectancy, then you're financially independent. So essentially, at the end of this course, what we're expecting is that you have a factory almost to develop, implement, monitor, improve, scale, and just run these over and over again as you need to in order to continually develop, because no system is going to last forever. So you don't really get to stop like that. Let me show you where you can begin. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Acquiring venture capitalists is my current blocker. Okay, Ron, we'll talk about what venture it is that you may need. Too much information is definitely an issue, and we will show you very early on, even as a beginner, how you can just tune out all the noise, because using a few simple precepts, the chart will really tell you just what's happening. The name of the app is Elements. It's a private app, so it works, but it's only available by invitation. So those are the questions so far. Definitely feel free to keep going with those. Let's go to. All right. You're still seeing that. I'm sorry. I'm just a little slow here. Good. Okay. So here we are on LumiWealth. This is the URL that you go to, lumiwealth.com, trading as a business. It describes the course as I have done also, and emphasizes that you don't have to be a programmer, but you can be. And if you are a programmer, it might be good for you to have a look at what the humans are doing, because so many times when you treat these prices as numbers, you think that that's all there is, and then you start looking for sentiment elsewhere. And we're going to explore how these numbers actually contain sentiment. I know that's a kind of a mind-stretching thing, but it's there. We're definitely going to work on the clarity so that you don't have insomnia or any somatic problems whenever it is that you're working in the market. The course curriculum is here. I'm not sure if you can download it or not, but you can look at it. And as I've said before, this is not set in stone. So if there's something that you're interested in, or you want to talk to me about what your particular thing is, then slide right on down here. And when you add this to the cart, you'll get an option for a discount coupon. And that coupon is somewhere. Robert, have I?
Yeah, just chiming in here. So it's on the previous page. If you go to previous page. And you go down to the live course, you go down a little bit further. There's a coupon here that's only valid until June 24th, right? So about a week-ish, right? And that's the one, LA,
Okay.
You'd have to use that. By the way, Guy, there's also a few more questions here in the chat. I don't know if you have it open in a separate window if you're looking at that. But one question here from Ron is, will your students receive an invite to Elements?
The people who want to have personal attention will, yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, cool. And then you'll start to fill some of that out, and we'll be speaking over Zoom. It probably takes us a month or two to really get you on track with that, because it's a project. It's a way we're really going to put in place the steps for you to grow your wealth, and it's not automatic. Satayan, okay, buddy, I'm going to go through this again for you, really quickly, as soon as I figure out how to screen share again. Okay. Here we go. When you're trying to succeed with this, when you have an algorithm that's starting to work for you, if you actually want to make sure that you are keeping the wealth that you generate from the market, if you want it personally tailored to you, Elements is an app which has kind of distilled financial planning and wealth management down to about 10 or 12 different equations or areas. And these are some of the screenshots from the phone, but essentially you'll have in real time this table that will show you how you're doing. Some of the things change relatively quickly, some don't. I guess some of it depends on your trading. But for people who are in this course, we're basically going to be looking to see that the money flowing from your endeavor starts to get counted as income. We're going to make sure that the tax rate you're paying on that is the lowest possible. Make sure that your endeavor is protected. And for those of you who may have another business, plus you're starting to do this trade, or if you are doing stuff with venture capital and so forth, this becomes much more important. And then total term, that's your number. That lets you know how many years of living you have at your current style of living. How many years of living you have if you liquidated everything. So, you know, a lot of people I work with are in their 60s and 70s, and they have 30 or 40. So if a guy's in his 70s and has 40, then he knows he needs to make plans for what's going to happen to the grandkids, because he's just not going to use all his money. You know, that's really all there is to it. So yes, we will leverage the 50K live in class as long as there are people who are also trading futures. Yep, that's exciting. More exciting for me because it's actually my money. And it's where we get to see, you know, a lot of mistakes and perhaps even a catastrophic one. So everybody likes a good car wreck. I have such a dark sense of humor. Um, Wherever you are now, you're probably looking for something that's going to give you more certainty, less, as we Italians say, agita, less heartburn. We are in the perfect storm um, of things happening. We we have the Spanish flu of 1918. We have the crash of 1929. We have World War II, the Dust Bowl from the 30s, all this year. We've got it all this year. This is the time to know how you're going to operate in the market. And when you do, like when you survive this, and it's 10 years from now or 20 years from now, the fact that you were able to trade through this, invest through this, and make it, that's going to make for some good stories, and it's going to make for some even better results, because the people who survive these kinds of things, are the people who really make it. So, Ray, there is long-term investing and short-term investing. So some people like to invest. I don't know. I think Caleb's holding period is 10 minutes. Some people invest for years. I would tell you that I've never met anybody who did not have assets that, some were meant for their kids. Some would be held for years. Some get traded all the time. So if you're really good at trading every 10 minutes, then you need to do something about moving some of the 10-minute money back to the 10-year money. What are the requirements for the Business Brokerage LLC? You know what? Interactive Brokers will let you know what their requirements are. You don't have to start that before our class. But I will say, for everybody who signs up tonight and tomorrow, and really up until that coupon ends, the class starts when you sign up. So when you sign up, we'll get in touch, we'll get on my calendar and start talking, and you'll tell me what it is you're looking for from this. We don't have to wait for the first class day. Okay? Any other questions? All right. Well, listen, attention is the rarest thing on earth anymore. Everything's calling for yours, and you gave it to me tonight. So I really appreciate what you did. I think that your spouses, your partners, will appreciate it too, and we'll spend a lot of time talking about where they stand in this whole endeavor. And I am really looking forward to you guys, because everything I've seen of this community has just been tremendous. So any questions, write or show up in the discussion hour on Tuesday nights. I'm going to be there at least until class starts. And thank you all so much. Anything for you, Robert?
No, I think people might need a little bit of time to write out their questions, especially
okay.
There's a little bit of delay. But I thought this is great. I thought this is fantastic. We put a lot of thought into this course. You and I talked about this for months, actually, literally months. And I think you're a great person to learn from. You have a lot of experience in the market. I know you manage money for quite a few different people. I don't know how many millions it is. I don't know if you're willing to disclose that or not.
55.
55? Oh, it's not bad. It's
a little place.
Only 55 million bucks that you manage. It's not bad, right? I think that's great. But I think people could learn a lot from you, right? Just the fact that you've been around since the 1980s. I mean, I've been investing since, I want to say 2006, 2007. I feel like I've seen some shit, right? 2008, that was a painful time. Try starting investing in 2008. That will teach you a few lessons.
Try retiring.
Yeah, exactly, right. But I can imagine, you saw the crash in 1987, right? You saw the 2000 crash. You saw 2008. You saw 2020, and we're currently going through another one right now. I personally think that if you want to learn from anyone, you're the kind of person to learn from with this kind of experience, managing a large amount of money. Clearly, people trust you with what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Um, I think it's great. I like again. I want to be part of your course as well. I'm going to be taking this as well. We saw a lot of people that said they're very new to trading, right? When you asked that question, we saw a lot of people that got the A, the 1 to 5 years. Maybe that colors things a little bit, but I think this is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this course. I'm going to be part of it as well. So very cool.
Well, yeah, looking forward to having you there. And for the guys who are little A's, that's fine. We're going to be teaching you, but you're also going to have the opportunity to just sit and listen while we work with people who are very, very advanced. And I think everybody's old enough to know not to be bored by that, but to be very interested, because whatever you're seeing in front of you will be something you get to eventually. So it'll be good stuff.
Absolutely. There's a question here from Stephen. Do we get a copy and replay of the presentation? Need to discuss with partners. So we'll be sending out a recording of this presentation. We're gonna send it through email, and we're also gonna put it into the comments of the event on our Circle page, right? On lumiewealth.circle.so. There'll be a recording there. We'll send it out by email as well. Guy, I know you had a Google Drive link they said you could share, so we'll be able to put that presentation.
Yeah, let me do that.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
Perfect.
And
no problem, Steve.
So just put that in the chat, Robert?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go.
All right, that is there.
Perfect. I'm going to click on this as well. Okay. Too large to preview stuff. On my end, I have to download it. I'm speaking out loud right now. 117 megabytes. That is.
It's big, buddy. Those are some quality pictures in that presentation.
Yeah.
You could blow those up 30 by 30.
That's great. Cool. Okay, so it's opening up for me. That's awesome. Hopefully everyone's got. I think PowerPoint you could download for free. The version that allows you to view files, so they'll have that as well. I personally pay for it as well. The Microsoft 365, I do that thing. Give Bill Gates some money, as you say.
Yep. So I will work on getting maybe a flatter, easier to download PowerPoint. This one's just been the draft I keep working on, so we can get that changed.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, definitely a great presentation. I'm looking through the comments here. I don't see too many other questions. I'm wondering if anyone else has any questions. I thought this was very cool. Steven says, so
Thank
glad.
you, Steven. Awesome. Yeah.
Great stuff. Perfect.
Thanks, Chris. Well, don't be strangers. Like I say, we're in the chat on Tuesdays also. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, so the discussion hour is available to existing students, right? So someone's bought our classes before, they could join in there. But if they're not, I mean, I think it's good for us to also share the Discord link into our LumiWealth server. So I'll go ahead and share that as well. I'm just going to grab this here to change the expiry dates. But I'm going to share a link to our Discord channel, which, Guy, I know you're very active in. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to go into Discord and ask. Guy is in there. You can personally message him as well if you need to, and all that sort of thing. There's a question here. Does access to the library of code include all courses, or is it a single course? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Wes. That sounds like a typo. This class has no code in it. There's no code inside this class. So if you're seeing something on the webpage that says access to code, that is not valid for this class. So if you could tell me where that is, I can probably modify it. For our other classes, we have code. This is our first class, by the way, that there's no coding involved, right? This is meant for.
So I can't do it.
I think you've gotten pretty good, Guy. I think you've gotten pretty good at coding. But yeah, I mean, if you join our other classes, you get access to the code for that class. This class is not a coding class, so there's no code involved. But if you do have, there's going to be a lot of materials, I'm sure, Guy, for all these types of things that you're doing between the app and everything else that you talked about. I think this is a great class that works in tandem with, if you're doing algorithmic trading, it works very well for that, right? You're trying to build an algorithm, trying to figure out what to trade and how to make money. I think you'd be a good person to talk about that. But then also, even if you're not coding, if you're someone who refuses to learn Python, which there are people like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone's got their skill set. I think there's still a lot to learn from your course as well, without any kind of coding requirements too. So.
Yeah. So, nope, very excited to see people. And I guess, Robert, if there's anything else you need from me, give me a buzz, and I'll run along.
Yeah, sounds great. I'm gonna share one more time the link to the class, so in case anyone wants to join, it's available there. The link one more time, and then we have another one here. So a lot of statistics used in place of code.
No, so Ray, if you use interactive brokers the way that we do, they do a lot of the calculations for you, and they have available stuff in Excel spreadsheets so that you can get what you need from there. And believe me, if you come up with a system that starts to be scalable, you'll get plenty of attention to get those stats done.
Yeah, so Wes, let me know. There's a typo on our site that I'm gonna correct right after this. Thank you for letting me know, Wes. Because under self-directed, it says that you get access to code, which makes no sense because you don't have any code that you're gonna be putting into here. So I'm gonna fix that little typo on our website. Awesome, very cool. Any other questions, guys, for Guy while he's here? Expert trader. 40. I mean, I feel like you've been trading longer than I've been alive.
I think I have been trading longer than you've been alive. Yeah.
Not to date myself. I was born in 1987, so I'm pretty sure you started before I was born.
Well, you've never not traded on the internet, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've done some things. I've gone through my share of ups and downs in many different markets, especially crypto. Crypto's been this crazy wild ride. Yeah.
I hadn't heard.
Yeah. Oh, it's only like a 70% crash. It's not like a big deal, right? Yeah.
We've been through a number of those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're looking forward to it also, Wes. And Robert and I talk a bunch. So if there's cool, Ray. If there's some stuff where coding and trading have to come together, we'll be constantly working on that also.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, good night, everybody. And again, see you all on Tuesday, and certainly class. And if you do sign up, Robert will let me know, and we will start talking right away.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Thanks again, guys. This has been a very great presentation. Lots of great people here as well. We had a nice showing as well. So hopefully see you guys in class. I'm definitely going to be attending. And thanks again, guys. This is fantastic.
Okay, see ya.
All right. Have a good one.